So just if you JP the house, okay, this is part 2 of I Miss Black Women / In My Days or something like that. But anyway, I want to talk about, you know what was cool when we used to go to Fox Hills Mall and you can walk around in there, right? You might see a guy with a girl, you know, you look at her, she'll look at you, you know, and a lot of, I don't know if it was just me or because of the people I was with, you know, because sometimes when I'm up there with people in the hood and stuff, you know, and the guys, I mean, nobody, it wasn't no hating, like overly hating, like a person walk up to you, what you doing, looking at my girl and stuff like that, you know. And I remember one time was this girl I ran into in Westwood, and her name is Kim. I talked to her about my other videos too, but that woman was beautiful. Oh my God, she was just wow, top of the cream, and I was like, ooh. And like I met her in Westwood when Mrs. Phil's cookies first came out in Westwood, and I used to go up there. They're like 25 cents. I bought like 10 of them, and you know, pass them out to people, whatever. So I gave her some. You know, she used to call me the Cookie Man. So when I saw up in the Fox Hills Mall with some guy, I don't know if it was her boyfriend or not. You know, so I'm walking by and stuff, and maybe because I was yoked or whatever, you know, not too many people probably didn't say too much. But I walked by and I was going, hey, how you doing, Kim? You know, she was with the guy. I think they were holding hands or something. And we just started talking, and I just like, I kind of like totally ignored the dude, you know, but it wasn't like in a rude way, but I did ignore him. However, when we left, you know, when we finished talking, I just told him how we met, and I just told him, you know, how we met and stuff, you know, we just friends, and every time I see her, I just say hi. It doesn't matter who she with, you know. He was like, oh, no, it's cool, you know, stuff like that, you know. But I remember those days, like, it was this one girl I met named Mercedes. I think I talked about her before, too. But I don't really want to necessarily talk about her, but how we met. Anyway, me and some friends were walking in Venice and stuff. I'm not in Venice, but in Westwood. And this is about, like, in the 80s, early 80s and stuff like that. And I was with these two guys. I think they were twins. I'm not sure where they were from, maybe Gardena or something. But they used to always go to the beach. They're like 6'4", light-skinned, and they used to dress up like Prince and dance like Prince. I don't know if anyone out there remember them, but I remember them guys. And I was with them and some other people and stuff. And them guys are crazy, man. They just some crazy stuff. I ain't even about to say what they did. But when them guys were kind of real big too. You know, so a lot of people didn't really sweat them. So we walked by Mercedes, and I think it was like 2 or 3 other guys with her, and they said something to her, and I was, you know, and I'm always like a peacemaker, like, yo, man, y'all need to chill out and stuff, you know. And they're like, no, you know, just out having fun and stuff, you know. I'm thinking to myself, you know when somebody gonna get angry, you know. So anyway, they said something to them. And then I had walked by like 3 seconds later, and she was like, well, you ain't got nothing smart to say either. I looked at her and I was like, huh? You know, and I was like, I was just going to ignore it, because back then I was really conceited and stuff, but I wasn't to the point where I just wouldn't talk to anybody. But at that time, I just like, huh? She tripping and stuff, you know. So I kept on walking. Then I said, nah, forget this. I'm not going to get played like this. So I just stopped. I didn't even turn around. I just walked backwards until I got in front of her. And I was like, what do you mean by, I don't have nothing smart to say to you. I don't even know you. You know, you with your boyfriends or friends or whoever you with, you know, whatever, you know. She said, no, they my cousins and da-da-da, this and that. You know, like, what? And I said something. And then I asked her, and they said, yeah. And I said, all right. You know, so we and her started talking and stuff, right? So the next thing you know, and I'm telling you, she was petite, I guess, but she was fine. God, she was fine. Hips, everything. Oh my God, she was bad. And the guys had noticed I wasn't there, so they came back looking for me. And they was like, oh my God, I can't believe you talking to her. What happened? How'd you start talking to her? And I said, she just started cracking jokes on me or something, you know. So I came back to listen to them, you know. And so it was funny because them guys had actually said something smart to her, and I don't know if they said something exactly to the guys, but I know they said something smart to her. And actually, you know, me and her walking, and I think it was like all together there, guys, with maybe 6 guys behind us walking. So we just walking all around, you know, just chatting and stuff. And I think we were holding hands or something like that. And then there was this, what was it? Some parking lot. I think it was still in Westwood. I think it was right on Westwood Boulevard, or some apartment building, some building or something. I don't know. But anyway, I think it was a parking lot. And it was like right off of, ooh, God, I don't know the name of the street, but there was this steakhouse that was on the Beverly Hills side, not the Beverly Hills, yeah, the Beverly Hills side of Westwood. I can't think of the name of that street. I used to always, man, I swear, man, I made it a point to never forget the name of those streets. And it wasn't, I'm thinking it's West Home, because I'm not sure, because the street that was LeConte Avenue ran in front of UCLA. You know, I think that was it, so it could have been West Home, but I'm not sure, because I'm thinking West Home was on the beach side. But anyway, we walked up to the car and stuff, you know, and she was like leaning up against her car, because at that time in LA, you know, when at that time in LA, when you meet a girl and stuff and you left them, you can get a kiss. I don't know where that came from. I swear. You know, and she was like, well, you gonna kiss her? I'm like, no. She's like, what? Now I'm like, I don't know. You ain't putting my lips on. You crazy? You know, everybody do that. I'm like, well, I'm not everybody, you know. So anyway, we traded numbers and stuff. But it was real cool, you know. She was real cool, you know. And then what happened? You know, it was just real cool back then. You know, brothers was, you know, walking up on the sisters, talking to them, and sometimes there were other guys there. Like I said, I didn't get into any fights or anything, you know, going to the clubs. Like, what I loved about clubs, and this was like in the 90s, so it was a little later and stuff, right, after I came back to the Philippines and stuff, that you hang out with these girls, and you be hanging with these bad girls, right, and you go to a club, and the guys, you know, they'll look at these guys and she'll like, why don't you go tell that guy I like him? You know, back in those days, we used to do that stuff. You know, I mean, what the people I'm around with, I don't know about everybody else. You know, and the clubs I went to, it was allowed, you know. So I walk up to a guy, you know, whatever, hey, man, my friend want to talk to you. And they're like, damn, she bad. I'm like, yeah, I know she is. That ain't your girl. I'm like, heck no, man. You know, mind if I talk to her? I'm like, man, you talk to her, get your Mac on, you know what I'm saying, and take her home, because I don't want to take her home because she lived far, you know. And it was like one of these girls when I was way out in we went to some club. I'm thinking it was up in Riverside or near Georgia Air Force, but I wasn't that far, Georgia Air Force, because I was stationed at Edwards Air Force, and Georgia was far. But it was someplace in the middle, and I was like, whatever. I was like, you can take her, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, they rapped and stuff, you know, and I think it was, she had another friend too. Her other friend was bad, taller than her, because she was short but dark skin, fine, my God, body on her. And I'm talking about, when you're talking about sex and stuff, my God, she was like, it was a trip, man. I ain't lying. And so, her other friend was with us too. Her friend was tall too. She was bad, and she had no boyfriend or nothing. She did have a kid though, but she didn't have any boyfriends or anything. I think the father used to always come over. They were like broke up or something like that, you know. And like one day I was over there. Anyway, that's another story. But so this other guy came over because me and her was sitting, because the other girls with the short girls with. I went up there with, he was dancing, and this dude was like, wow, you know, why you two not dancing? I'm like, you know, I'm just come here to chill, you know. And he was like, well, why don't you just dance with your girl? I'm like, she ain't my girl, she your girl if you could take her, you know. Because I was like that. I mean, even when I was in Sunsplash, you know, I don't know if Boss remember that, and guy Coco Boss. But my friend Brown, rest in peace, he told me, I used to come to, I don't remember this stuff, but I used to go to Sunsplash when I lived up in Nagoya with different girls, and my friends like, oh man, she fine. Well, I'm like, go ahead and talk to me, you know. And everybody thought I was just said that so I could fight and stuff, but I was serious. I wasn't dating these girls, you know. They just, you know, I just coming in. I had a car and they were fine, and they wanted to come to Osaka. I'm like, cool, whatever, you know. And they just roll with me and stuff, you know. And I wasn't trying to babysit them or nothing, you know. And I definitely, if they went somewhere, I definitely wasn't gonna wait for them and stuff, you know. But it was nice and cool, you know. I just remember those days. I remember like one day, well, I did get this once. I remember my best friend Daryl. We went up to what was this place? UCLA. They used to have these dancers up there all the time, all black. You know, fine sister. Dang. Man, I'm dancing at UCLA back in, when was this? Probably before I went to the military, I'm sure. So it's probably like in 82, 83, 84 and stuff like that. And we went to this one dance, and it was this one sister. I walked over to her trying to get my mic on. Hey, how you doing? Whatever. She said, hey, hey. And she grabbed my hands and said, come follow me. So I'm like, cool. I'm like, damn, boy, I ain't had to do nothing, you know. But at that time, yeah, okay, I was having sex at the time. So it probably was after I had turned 21 and stuff. And I was like, yeah, boy. She walked right over to my friend and said, introduce me to him. And I was like, what? I was like, oh, nah. And so I introduced him. I thought my friend was going to just kick her to the curb because of the way they got introduced and shit, man. He was dating her and stuff. Later on, I found out I was all ticked and stuff. But I didn't care because I think me, her, and him and her friend, I guess that we all went out and stuff. And it didn't really work out between me and the girl. But we had a good conversation and stuff like that. You know, because a lot of people, when they see me and stuff, they always, a lot of people, they always misjudge me and stuff. You know, because they're like, oh, you all tall and yoked and you look like a gangbanger drug dealer. You know, I'm like, well, what does a gangbanger drug dealer look like? I'm not Italian or, you know what I'm saying? I'm not Japanese or, you know, because those are all the famous gangs and stuff, you know, because everybody wanted to be Al Capone and stuff, right? So anyway, I was like, oh, no, I'm joking, whatever. But, you know, I used to always get that. But I just love those days. So you go to the club, walk up to a sister. Like, okay, I told this on one of my videos too, but I got some funny stories. So anyway, I walked into this club, and it was in Westwood. Yeah, I think it was named Mexican Samurai Mexican. I'm sorry I messed up your name, bro. But he was talking about Fat Burgers, right? Man, I remember when it was this, I think it was Fat Burgers or some burger joint that was in Westwood that had popped up, and it was right on Gailey Avenue. Bam! I remember that. And it was like one block towards Bel Air, you know, and everybody used to hang out there and stuff, you know, and eat and stuff. And it was this club right over there too. I forgot the name of it though. But it was right on Gailey Avenue, this real upscale club and stuff. So anyway, I walked up to the club, you know, me and one of my friends and stuff, and I called myself, I'm like, yo, you know, nobody's dancing, I'm gonna dance. And it was like 13 girls right up on the bar, right? So I walked over to her, I see one dancing, the one was like, no. And you know, most guys they'll leave. I'm like, whatever. So I asked the next one, it was like 13 girls. I got 13 no's. And mama was like, to our friend, they were rolling, man. He was rolling this stuff, some other guys were rolling stuff. I'm like, forget that, I ain't worried about them. You know, I just went on the dance floor, was dancing. I was like the only one on the dance floor dancing and stuff, right? And so one of them came over to me and she was fine and stuff, but you know, my stupid, ignorant, arrogant, conceited self was like, well, you didn't want to dance with me the first time, you know, so I don't want to dance with you. And then she said, no, I wasn't sure if you were this kind of guy or whatever, you know. And she was bad, man. And I was like, no. And then, you know, of course I regretted that after I woke up the next day and stuff, right? But it was all cool and stuff, you know. But I had a good time and stuff. You know, I remember this on the first girl I ever had sex with, well, after I, you know, turned 21 and stuff. I talked about that, but her name was Cynthia. She was so bad. God. We used to go a lot of places, and we went to that dance once, and this guy, we was on the dance floor, right? And so he come up behind her. You know, I told this story too, but I got these are like my favorite stories, you know, just like telling them 1,000 times. And he was all dancing close to her. And, you know, back then, I didn't care. And a lot of times guys would do that, sandwich a girl and stuff. But she was, like, looking kind of a little uncomfortable. So I said, you know, why don't you, I said, well, do you mind? She said, no, I don't want to. I said, okay, why don't you back off? You know, he was like, no, you know, because back then it was acceptable, you know, where you dancing with a girl. You know, at least in LA was, or at least because you dance with a girl, a guy walk up behind you, sandwich, whatever, you know, and nobody just did, you know, it was just acceptable back then and stuff, you know. And so she was like feeling really uncomfortable. Wow, the remount this place must have closed it down. So, and I was like, put my hand around her, over her shoulders, and like kind of like push. I didn't shove them, but I like moved them back and stuff. But I was really strong too. I don't know where I got my strength from, but was really strong. So I guess he tried to resist some, but it was like if I was pushing a buggy or something. You know, he's like, man, put your hands up. And I'm like, man, dang, why don't you just chill out? She said she don't want to dance with you and stuff, you know. And, you know, he was all tripping and stuff, so we just went and sat down and stuff. But it was funny because I got a part do this again. Hold on.